Have you ever thought about how language affects culture in your daily life? If not, that's okay. I'm here to show you how language has impacted culture in my everyday life. So language has affected culture in my daily life in that it communicates and reinforces a set of beliefs that relates to that culture, such as values and cultural norms. Language by default also fosters a chance for bonding and socializing over shared culture. My parents often tell stories of their past with me and my brothers. One memorable story was how they had to secretly immigrate into the United States by trekking over dangerous mountains and villages in Asia and flying across the world before finally landing in America. My parents used the word "you" in their storytelling, and it works in putting me in the shoes and imagining what it was like for them. American linguist Noam Chomsky calls its use of language to express many thoughts. My parents' use of stories has taught me that language isn't just about speaking, but an art of communication. They were able to communicate their perseverance and determination, both of which represent the nature of the Chinese culture and the Chinese people. My parents also stress the importance of being polite, and they show it in their use of language. Recently, my dad called an older friend on the phone for some paperwork and documents, and he addressed his friend in a formal manner with words like "hello," "how's your day," and "thank you for the help, have a good day." With the way my parents use formal tones with certain people, they're teaching me how to be respectful and professional in any situation that calls for it. I speak in a formal tone to others every once in a while when our family goes to a community gathering or when a family friend visits us. In Chinese culture, we treat those who are older than us with greater respect because of their wisdom and knowledge that accumulates as you age. My parents also communicate the conservative culture and the outlook of the Chinese by telling me that I shouldn't put my legs up on the table or spread my legs out outside of the house. In a way, I agree with them that I should behave my best when I'm not home, but sometimes I just want to stretch my body out when I'm really tired. Authors Emmett and Pollock explain that people who are brought up under similar behavioral backgrounds or cultural situations but speak different languages may have a different view on the world. In my case, I was raised in a similar culture as my parents, but I use English more than Mandarin, so my viewpoints are more open-minded than my parents' views on the world. Now, some could argue that language does not always affect culture and that other things in the environment might also affect it, like your relationship or friends. While it's true that your friend circle could influence culture in your daily life and that you might be able to understand certain things about a culture and not the language, it's still beneficial to understand both. Take Japanese, for example. I have a few Japanese friends, and their way of doing a slight bow to strangers has influenced me a bit, and now I also do a slight bow to strangers as well. In this case, I can understand a part of the Japanese culture, but I'm not fluent in the language. If I learned the language, I would have understood the culture better. According to an analysis by researcher Taylor, a person's fluency in a foreign language reflects his or her understanding of that culture. With my amateur fluency in the Japanese language and me only understanding a part of their culture, the statement holds true. So in essence, learning how language affects your culture in everyday life is important because the language supports the culture in that it gives context for why people behave the way they do. If one only attempts to understand a culture, then they're only getting a piece of the bigger picture. Just like how some people ignore history because it's boring. But history provides such a rich context of how things became the way they are. So how about now? Do you have a good understanding of how language plays into your culture and your daily life?